7-year treaty. Our strong and firm covenant with the many. The Bible tells us that a short time after, following directly on the heels of the war of Gog and Magog, the Antichrist will sign a treaty or an agreement with Israel for 7 years, and the very moment of the signing of this treaty or agreement marks the start of the 7-year tribulation. Much like approaching a stop sign in a car, the closer to the sign you get, the more legible the letters of the sign are. As we rapidly approach this day, information on what this treaty might be is starting to grow. We traditionally refer to this agreement as a peace treaty. Daniel 9:27, while may not be giving us all the details we would like, does gives us perhaps the best description of what this agreement actually is. Daniel 9:27. And he shall enter into a strong and firm covenant with the many for 1 week, 7 years. And in the midst of the week he shall cause the sacrifice and offering to cease, for the remaining 3½ years, and upon the wing or pinnacle of abominations, shall come one who makes desolate, until the full determined end is poured out on the desolator. The Bible tells us that this is a strong and firm covenant with the many. The question is this a peace treaty? It may very well be. If this is a treaty of peace, it will not be a treaty to protect Israel from the world and the EU, it will be a treaty to protect the world and the EU from Israel. With the amazing victories and divine protection Israel will have experienced by then, the world will fear Israel, and the EU would certainly not want to face Israel in battle. There is, however, a possibility that is growing more and more likely as this day approaches, which is that the strong and firm covenant with the many is the accepted offer of membership into the EU by Israel. At some point in the near future, the Antichrist will be at the head of the EU, and global government will be forming around the EU via 10 world regions, with the EU being the seat of power, or capital region if you will. We can safely assume that this coming world government will not have been fully formed at this point due to the fact that many nations will join in the coalition led by Russia and Iran in what is known as the War of Gog and Magog, which will occur just prior to this treaty. This very act by those nations implies independent decisions and actions not governed by a central world government. Furthermore, at the point at which the coming world government is fully formed, it would have some degree of control over Israel. A treaty by a government with one of whom it governs would only serve to undercut the government's legitimacy and authority, and would not be a logical course of action. Therefore, it is safe to assume the world government will not be fully formed at this point, although certainly well underway, with possibly regions such as North American Union, etc. already in place. It also follows that this treaty or agreement will be between the Antichrist/EU and Israel. Let us first look at what will by then be the recent history that leads up to this point. First, Israel will have utterly defeated and conquered all of its neighboring enemies in a regional Middle East war prophesied in Psalm 83 as well as Isaiah 17, Ezekiel 25, 13-14, Jeremiah 49, Obadiah, Isaiah 17, Zephaniah 2, 3-5. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe to us on YouTube, Facebook and Twitter. You can visit us on www.therealthingmean.webs.com.